Hi everybody, it's Heidi with the Columbia Land Conservancy, and I'm here at Harris Conservation Area, and today we're going to go for a little explorer walk to find some vernal pools. This month's book is A Salamander's Life, which was written and illustrated by John Himmelman. And I'm not going to read it to you because Mr. Himmelman read it and has a video that talks about why he wrote it and some of the interesting information that's in the book. So we'll put a link for that with this video. So we're walking along the yellow trail at Harris. And what do you notice about this property as we look around? It's all trees, right? And that's really important for animals like the mole salamanders, like spotted salamanders and wood frogs. And you're probably thinking, but they're amphibians, don't they need water? And they do. And these vernal pools are what they need to complete their life cycle. When we get to one, I'll explain more. So this, my friends, is a vernal pool, also called a woodland pool. As you can see, it is surrounded by woods. And one thing you might want to do when you come to the edge of a vernal pool like this is settle down, sit for a few minutes, and see if you can hear any wood frogs or peepers. There weren't any when I walked up, but maybe we'll take a minute and find a good sit spot and see if we can hear anything. It's a little cold and windy today, so the frogs and salamanders might not be as active. Salamanders don't make any sounds, they don't call or sing, but as you know, frogs do, and hopefully we'll hear some at some point today. One of the really important features of a vernal pool is the lack of water continually flowing in. So there's no stream, there's no inlet or outlet of water. They're considered isolated pools of water, even though, as this one here, you can see if I get around this tree, that in really high water, they might be connected. So there's one on this side, and then there's a little bit of a rise, and then there's one over here. But generally speaking, there's no flow of water, which makes it really important because then there's no fish. And without fish, there's a lot less predators to eat the eggs of these salamanders and frogs. So spotted salamanders are a type of mole salamander. And so that means that they live underground most of the year. Now, one thing that you can do when you're out in the woods, you can look for logs and flip them over very carefully and see if anybody might be hiding out. So we're going to try that with this log here. So let's see if anybody's underneath there. So what you want to do is you want to be very careful when you lift it and lift it towards you. This is a pretty big log, so I might not be able to. And then you move it out see if anybody's under there. And I don't see anybody, so we'll try another one. But what you want to make sure you do is put it back right where you found it, because there are things that live under there. You just might not be able to see them right now. If you follow along the yellow trail, as I just did, you'll come to not a woodland or vernal pool, but a giant pond. Maybe not a giant pond, but a pretty big pond. And this has a couple of features that woodland pools don't have. So it has water flowing into it. It's very deep. And it doesn't dry up in summer. So lots of things will use this pond. Many frogs. Oh, I see one now. Some newts. Often we see newts in here. Oh, there goes some more frogs. I'll get close and settle in, and maybe we can see some moving on the surface of the water. So in the water, between these two rocks, there's a little wood frog, and I'm going to try to get some video of it without scaring it. Can you see his little head? So here's another log that we're gonna flip and see if anyone's home underneath. So sometimes you might need a friend to help you because they're heavy. But anything nice and wet, good habitat, good little home. I see nothing right now. We'll try again. Don't forget, put it back gently and where you found it. So we're at the end of our tour of Harris, and while we didn't see any salamander eggs, we saw some cool vernal pools. And what is that? Do you see that? Can you see what it is? We have here a replica of a yellow spotted salamander. So this is my friend Sally. She is a yellow spotted rubber salamander, and she's a little bit bigger than most of the salamanders that I have found out in nature. And when you flip logs and you find a Sally like Sally, it's so exciting. So I'm flipping one last log to see if anybody might be living under there. And I would say no. At least not right now. They might be down deeper because it is cold under there. And one thing with salamanders is that they have to stay warm. They are what's called ectothermic. So they get their warmth from the surrounding ecosystem, their habitat. And with live salamanders, you're going to want to make sure that your hands are very clean and they don't have insect repellent or lotion or sunscreen, because salamanders absorb through their skin. They breathe through their skin, and they really need to have, if you do handle them, make sure your hands are wet and clean. And then when you put them down gently. And if you say found one under a log, you were going to put it right next to the log so it can crawl back under there. You don't want to put the log down on top of it. And then when you get back to your car or home, make sure you wash your hands really good. So that's it from Harris Conservation Area for Little Explorers. And my friend Sally and I say thank you for joining us, and for A Salamander's Life, written and illustrated by John Himmelman. And hopefully you check out the video of him reading it. It's really sweet. And hopefully you can come to Harris Conservation Area in Austerlitz, and you can find information about this property and all of our properties that are open to the public at clctrust.org. Hope you have fun exploring, and let us know if you see anything cool. Either send us an email at info@clctrust.org or on our Instagram or Facebook, and hashtag Little Explorers, and enjoy these beautiful spring days. Bye!